I just want a thought on how big that win was yesterday, just for the team-wise and morale-wise and record aside, just going on the road, having come up with a big win.
Yeah, I think anytime you get the result, you feel good and your process feels validated. But again, like for us, we're putting our focus on doing things the right way, and we think if you do that more often than not, over time, the results take care of themselves. And I thought there were a lot of really good things, a lot of positive signs in that game yesterday. I don't think it was a full 60 yet. I don't think we're at that point yet. We're still a work in progress, but to see our fellas dig in and take down one of the league's best teams, one of the only undefeated teams left in the NHL at that point, to be 2 goals down and to put that second period that we put together and carry it into the third period, I thought it was a positive sign for our team.
That second period shot barrage, have you ever seen anything like that before as a pro?
Been around some good teams, so I've seen teams tilt the rink at different points. But for our group to pour 26 shots on one of the best teams in the league, I think that's a positive sign. And for that to set a record for the organization, I didn't know that until after the game, but there's been some really good hockey teams and come through Edmonton here over its proud history. And so to do that, to do it against the team that we did it against, as I said, I think that's a building block for us as we move forward.
What did you make of Connor coming back to finish that game off, and any status update on him? Is he okay moving forward and available?
Yeah, he looked pretty good to me this morning. It looked pretty good to me when he came back into the game last night. I don't think the general public, when they talk about Connor, have a true understanding how tough of a hockey player he is, and the abuse that he endures because he's willing to go to hard areas, just night in, night out. Last night he went into the post or whatever, but he was driving the net hard in search of offense. And for me, I don't think he gets enough credit for that and what he plays through just on a daily basis. It's a one tough hockey player, and you can see that when your captain plays through things like that, I think it resonates throughout the rest of the dressing room.
And you expect he'll be available next game?
I expect that, yes.
Why do you think Ryan McLeod is looking like he's become more assertive offensively and is finishing more chances?
Yeah, I think he's put the work in. In a short way of answering that question, he's put the work in. He's somebody who has over time been challenged with capitalizing on his natural gifts. He has a lot of natural gifts. He's a big man. He's in great shape. He skates like the wind. He's got very good hockey sense and really good skills. I think for him, as he's coming into his own at this level, he's learning what his capabilities are and what he needs to do in order to have success. And then he goes out and he works at that. So it's not an accident. It's intentional, the success that he's seeing. I think for him, the more he plays, the more minutes he gets exposed to, the more those chances will go in. What I like about it, and I said this the other day, is that he's willing to get his nose dirty. And when you're willing to get your nose dirty and pay a price, typically good things happen.
What have you thought of Puljujarvi and Yamamoto, 2 players who have produced for you in the past and who are getting some looks, but what do you see out of those 2?
Yeah, I think their game's coming. When I think of Yamo, I saw Yamo do a lot of really good things in yesterday's game. I saw him win a lot of one-on-ones away from the puck, which is a good sign. Beating someone to a spot and then having the opportunity to score. It didn't go in. The puck polish wasn't there for him at that time. But finding himself in those chances is something for him to build off of. Can't forget that he was injured in training camp, missed a good portion of training camp. So he's working his way back into it. For Yessi, I thought it was a good sign, the chance that he had in the third period where he's right in the blue paint. I also think that Jesse does work for other people. So while I see him breaking up plays on the forecheck, going to the net hard, I think over time you start stacking good games and on top of each other, the offensive results for those guys, that'll happen for them. I'm confident.
When it comes to the Blues, how much you
Yeah.
learned from Saturday and what do you need to do
Well,
tomorrow night?
you look at that affair, it was a 1-0 check fest, where, there wasn't much room either way. And I thought the chances that we gave up, a lot of them were off of our own tape. So they're within our control to clean up. I think, we had chances to score, but they did a good job of defending us. And we're going to need to penetrate the interior if we want to have offensive success versus that team. They're another good hockey team that poses a very good challenge. It's our first road trip. I think it's time for our team to get on the road, to spend some time together, to be put in some adverse situations in tough buildings. And, we're going to see what we were made of here. I think when we talked to our team this morning, the second and third period were certainly a good template for us to build on from last night's game. But we get to choose that. We get to choose how we're going to approach our game preparation, how we're going to come out of the gate. We get to choose. And, we have a strong belief that we can do anything if we work together.
Jake,
Yeah.
go ahead. I was just
Yeah.
going to say, good sign. Dylan Holloway skated, one of like 6 guys out there, as he heals from this upper body
Yeah.
injury. Could you foresee him maybe getting into action soon here?
Yeah, I thought it was real positive that he was in our skate today. He's been in the last couple days, but today he had a little bit more. I think he's close. We'll see where he is. I haven't seen the training staff after today, but I think he's real close, real close.
Jay, you mentioned Ryan McLeod, obviously, his third of the year. The play by Derek Ryan last night, you wanted to highlight that.
Yeah.
When the bottom 6 guys or so on paper
Yeah.
are contributing, what does that do for the overall morale of the team when they feel like they're contributing on the score sheet?
Yeah, well, they're certainly valued. And I think right now, I think maybe 4 out of the 6 games we've played, 4 or 5 out of the 6 games we've played 11 forwards. So we can't afford to not have everybody going here. Everybody plays pretty much north of 10 minutes every night. And for us, when you have contributions up and down that forward grouping, I think makes us a better hockey team. And I can tell you that everybody is important on the Edmonton Oilers. And whether that's someone who plays 8 minutes a game or 18 minutes a game, or sometimes if they have to play 28 minutes a game, their contribution is valued and everybody is important. And so it was very nice to see that play made by Derek Ryan. I saw Devon Shore go hard to the post, and that opened up room for Ryan McLeod to put it in. I was happy for him.
You talked a little bit about the road trip. Does your approach change? Does the way the team plays change? How do things change?
Well, I think what changes is that you go on the road. Everybody's together. You're having meals together. You're spending time together away from the rink. I don't think the type of game that we want to play changes per se. I think what we're looking for in this road trip is to build a level of consistency to our game. We've seen spurts, we've seen good moments, but we got to see more over a longer period of time, especially against the competition that we're set to face. What our goal is as a coaching staff is to make sure that our players have a crystal clear understanding of what it's going to take for long-term success during the regular season. And I think we're working towards that, but as I said, I don't think we're a completed project right now. We're a work in progress, but we've seen some positive signs.